So I've been writing songs for the past 44 days, and I have 6 days left of my 50-day challenge of songwriting. And I just want to share how I got there with you all. But first, I want to share one of the songs that I wrote. This one's called Summer. It was just like started as a small fragment, but it was really fun. So it goes, why don't we stay inside together, sheltered from the weather, California summer, the sun blazes, sets, but summer's all alone at home, we only got a phone, so let's keep it cool and collected and have a summer on the internet. So get online away, make some new friends every day. Hey, I've been jamming since I May. It's inside a brand new way. Ooh, I found my summer with my guitar and some chords. You won't believe the creative words that I found in my summer. And your online friends I make, and the daily walks I take, and the rest is up to fate. So I've been performing a bunch of songs on Instagram Live. That's one of them. It's called Summer. It was about summer. I probably wrote it like 2 weeks ago, or like day 30-ish, something of the challenge. And I just wanted to talk about how I got to the point where I'm like writing a song every single day, when at the start of the year I was completely like creatively crippled. To tell this story, I gotta go like time travel a bit back to the start of my freshman year at UCSD. Basically what happened was, I graduated high school from Rosemead High, my hometown. I was doing choir for 4 years, and I was like the huge performer, and I was doing all the shows and all the concerts, all the solos, and I get to UCSD and I'm like, you know what? I'm so excited to perform. And I'm in a major of international business, so it's business oriented, but I still wanted the creative side of me to flourish. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try out for all the a cappella clubs. I tried out for like 6 of them, got like 5 callbacks, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna focus on one of them really heavily. And it was like this amazing group called the Tri-Toads, and they're just all freaking amazing musicians. And I put like hours and hours and hours and hours of effort into this one audition. But it was like really soon, so I didn't learn everything, but I got there, I tried my hardest, and I got like slapped in the face basically. Like all the people were really cool, but like I got rejected, and it felt so bad. And then after that, I was just like creatively demoralized. I just felt like so sad not being part of something anymore. So I created my own challenge. I wanted to perform 10 times throughout the year, and I was just going to coffee shops on campus. I was performing at talent shows and open mics, and I got to like 6 performances, and it was a lot of fun. And then like March happened, COVID hit, and I just decided to like drop the challenge again. And it felt like another step down from like the creative flame that I was trying to feed the fire, by performing, by practicing. So I kind of I didn't really give up, but I just like wanted to take a really relaxed break from all the guitar and all the singing and all that stuff. So like I maybe took a break for like 2 weeks, like seriously, like just stopped everything. But then I was like, you know what, I can't stop. So I just went back to playing fingerstyle guitar, learned a couple songs, and then I picked up my vocal training course online, and I was doing like an hour a day. And my whole intention was was like, okay, I'm gonna be back home. I wanna get better and better and better and better at the musician stuff and all the music stuff. And I just kept putting a lot of time in. And then I went to one of the mentor sessions that one of my dear friends and mentors, Alex Banayan, hosts. He's an author of The Third Door. It's an amazing freaking story. I asked him for advice on creativity, and I asked him like, Alex, what do I do if I'm getting technically better at everything I'm doing, but like creatively, like I'm just kind of stuck, like I'm not doing anything? And he's like, oh, what do you mean by that? And I was like, yeah, so I do hour vocal training, I play guitar, I work on my technical stuff, I play scales. And he's like, you know what? What's your dream? And I was like, you know what? Like if I'm being honest with myself, like perform, play my own music, meet other amazing musicians, meet other amazing humans. And he was like, you know what? I have something for you. He's like, I want you to do 50 days of songwriting. And I was like, what? like in my head, I was like, I've written one song before, and this was such like a jarring thing, because it was like, you know, I've written one song before, and then he's like asking me to write 50 days of songs, like an hour a day, phone off, completely new song every single day. And you know what, like halfway through the question, I was just smiling so big, because I was like, you know what, this might be the creative push that I needed just to do everything. And it really just turned out that way, where he also recommended a documentary that I watched called Songwriter. It's about Ed Sheeran and how he became like a huge guy, and it's him going through his whole Divide album. So we see him like at the start, the beginning of like creating Perfect and Dive and all his other songs like Barcelona and Galway Girl. It's such an amazing album. And then there's this one part in the whole documentary where Ed Sheeran talks about songwriting, and he's talking to like this younger generation of songwriters that are back in his hometown, and he says, I kind of use songwriting as a dirty tap in an old house, because you switch on the dirty tap and it spits out shit water for about kind of 10 minutes, and there's just mud and grit and all sorts of messiness coming out, and then it starts flowing clean water, and then little bits of grit still come out. After a while, it's just clean. And when I first started writing songs, they were freaking terrible, and that was the mud and grit coming out, and I was unplugging it, and I tried to write 2 or 3 songs a day for a while, just unplugging. Now and then you get the good old song that would stick out. That would be the first bit of water coming out, and then once all the bad songs were gone, the good songs started flowing. And now and then I would write a bad song, but I think the key is, when you know you're writing a bad song, make sure you finish it just so you get it out of you, because if you don't, then your next song will have a bad part in it. So just view it as a constant stream. Try to write a song a day, even if it's terrible. Just get it out of you, because the best songs you write will be 5 years from now. And that quote, that mindset, that philosophy, Ed Sheeran's philosophy on songwriting, has just kind of stuck with me this whole time. Because like after the documentary, like I loved his music before, but I just had so much more appreciation for it, and I just latched onto this ideology. So with that being said, you know, I'm 44 days in, it's felt freaking amazing. I remember at the start, like I couldn't make a melody. It took me an hour to write down like five lyrics, like 5 lines of lyrics, and like a simple melody. And now like I'm at the point where I can write a verse and a chorus. It's just so cool to see how I went from like not writing songs at all and just creatively doubting myself to just being like, all right, I'm just gonna take initiative, try it out, and it's really something I wouldn't expect if I hadn't have done it. Songwriting was not in my mind when I first like got back home, and I was thinking like, what am I gonna do creatively? I thought I would just, you know, like learn covers, learn other people's songs, and then just get better at that. But what I realized is like, what's unique about me and like everyone else on this freaking earth is that we can create our own kind of things. And so where I'm at right now is I'm going through this book called Writing Better Lyrics. It's like a Berklee College of Music professor's book on writing better lyrics. And I've been looking at it for like the past 50 days. I'm really almost finished, but there's just so many great concepts and like exercises in here. And one of the habits that has been like really cool about this book that I've been able to build is called like object writing. So basically what I do is like 10 minutes in the morning, it's like morning pages if you ever heard of it. You write for 10 minutes and you just write about one object and you try to describe it in all the senses, like sound, taste, touch, smell, hearing. Wait, I already said that. And basically all the senses. And I've done it every morning for 40 days already. Like tomorrow's gonna be day 41. And I got like this amazing advice from Cal Fussman. He's a writer and also like a big part of like the Third Door and helping Alex publish the book. He gave me the advice of thinking about the subject that I want to write about the next morning, the day before. So so for example, like tomorrow I'm going to be writing about volleyball, like playing volleyball at Hermosa Beach. Like I probably did that like a year ago, but like since I put it down on paper this morning, I have like the whole day. Like if anything reminds me of it, I'll think of it. Like, and he's so poetic. It's so cool. He's like, you'll be thinking of it in your dreams. And I was like, oh my God, like he's really intense, a great writer, great speaker and all that stuff, and great storyteller. So it's like, I just took it as his advice and it's been working out pretty well. Like I've noticed that over the past 40 days, like my lyrics have been more descriptive or they just come out easier. It's just like everything that Ed Sheeran says, like, you know, writing the songs, it's like a dirty tap. You just gotta like unplug it and let the songs flow and let the lyrics flow and not judge yourself for like having shitty songs. And I'm also going through this like philosophy book. It's called Songwriters on Songwriting, and it's basically this guy named Paul Zoyo, I think, and he went around interviewing like the world's greatest songwriters of like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. So there's people like Carole King, there's people like Yoko Ono, there's people like Randy Newman, Bob Dylan, all these other amazing people. And it was so funny because I was reading the book and my mom always sings these songs. Like one of them is like Stop in the Name of Love. So it's like, stop in the name of love before you break my heart. And I didn't understand that song, and I didn't even know it was like a real song until I read about the person that wrote it in the book. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. They talk about the process and the lyrics, and everyone comes up with songs differently. Anyways, that's what I've been up to. But I think what really just matters about this time is that like I have so much extra time, and instead of like just using it for like leisure or like reading or just like walking or going outside or just on like YouTube, like I've been using it to every single day just chip away at something that like I'm interested in. And even though like I had like, for me, I had a lot of opportunities lined up this summer, study abroad, internships, whatever, like a lot of things that I could have regretted. I think like the thing that really matters is like now it's like a new slate. I hope this, I don't know, inspires you to just be like, you know what, I always wanted to do drawing. Like a lot of friends that I have, they're like, a lot of them were just like, I don't know, they just took from what I started, this whole initiative, and they just did their own things. I have friends doing writing, I have friends writing books, I have friends painting stuff and drawing stuff. And it's like, it's so cool to see the amount of creativity that we have in ourselves if we're just like courageous enough to like pull open the faucet and look at all the gunk that flows out. So thanks Ed Sheeran for that philosophy, and thanks Alex for challenging me to this, and man, thanks to myself for sticking with it for 44 days. And I'm gonna stick to the end, don't worry about it. I'm gonna stick to the end, and I'm probably gonna recommit to it, or a version of it. So you guys will hear about that soon. But that's basically it for today. Hope you enjoyed the song earlier, and peace out, Tran Clan.